Hey everybody, this is Renee with Two Chatty Chicks, and I am up at Midtown Vintage Market on Markham and Rodney Parham. So if y'all are ever out and about, y'all need to stop in and see what all we got. This place is loaded with some of the most fantastic stuff you could ever imagine. But today we are continuing on with doing something with the ugly duckling. Hi, how are you? Hey Lisa, how are you doing today? I hope it's just maybe a little warmer there. I'm not trying to be mean, I'm really not. But I've kind of already started a little bit on the sides, but first I wanted to show y'all kind of a little tidbit. This is the trim that I'm going to put on the side that I had taken off, and it was raw wood. And so this is actually, can you believe this has got one coat of antique white on it, but by it being raw wood, it really soaked up the paint. So that's why it's always good if you're going to be working with raw wood, you want to condition the wood. And I would show you a can, but I'm out. Maryland carries a product that is strictly for conditioning your wood, and that's what it does. It conditions it for you to paint it, and that way your paint, is not soaked all up into the raw wood. But that was something I kind of wanted to show y'all, and I'm going to take these home and do them later. And I wanted to show y'all the door that I did yesterday after, and I'm going to show y'all how I did that whenever I do the top. And that is nothing but using the metallic glaze in the silver and using a chip brush and using the dry brush motion. What I did is I just barely dabbed it into the paint. 17 degrees. Wow, I bet you are, girl. And then I just offload the brush, and then I'm just barely touching the wood at all. And it's very forgiving. If you get a little bit too much, just take a wet cotton rag and you can kind of wash it. I had a couple of spots that I had to do that with, but there's the I don't know with the light, let me turn that away just a little bit, but see the I just love how those turned out. But the stenciling really turned out nice as well. Yeah, that's better. You can see it a little bit better. And you know what is really cool is it actually looks like I used some of the gold metallic glaze, but it's the antique white coming through that gives that illusion. So that's really pretty cool, but it kind of gives the look that it is got that I used the gold, but I didn't. And then the other one. And whenever you're doing a project like this, I learned this whenever I was doing faux finishing, is you want to make sure that you do both doors on the same day. You won't realize it, but your hand will have a different feel or a different action for the next day. So like if you're working on both doors, I would go ahead and do both doors that day. And like with this, whenever I do the sides, I'm going to go ahead and finish this all today. I won't do one side and then do the other side tomorrow. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. But let me see. Oh yes, I love how the hardware turned out. That looks really crusty and old, doesn't it? I love that. And I'll show y'all how I got that effect here in just a minute. And then here is the other one. And then here is this one. And I'll show y'all, and I'll show you the colors of the gilding jewels that I used. 1, 2, 3. I had 4. Oh, here it is. And of the colors, I used silver, and I used used it first. I don't know why, but I think it kind of made a difference because I kind of changed it up on some of the others. And I used silk. Isn't that pretty? It's a blue. Love it, love it, love it. And then, of course, the silver. Boy, I tell you what, doing this backwards is hard. And then, of course, the gold. The gold really sets it off and highlights it. So, hey Leslie, how are you doing today? If y'all have any questions, just let me know, and I may not be able to answer them right now, but whenever I get through and I get home, I will. But what I'm going to do, and as you know, yesterday I told y'all I used metallic spray paint. Well, no, first I used the primer, and then I let that dry, and then I took the cans home, I think. And then I used like a black metallic and sprayed it, and it was really pretty. And so that's kind of, you can see the glimmer. That even turned out pretty cool too. But I didn't want just that color. So I'm just going to take just enough on my finger, and I'm really not even paying any attention to making sure you have it any certain way or the amount or anything like that. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with the silk. And y'all, it doesn't take very much at all, just a little. And as you can see, what a difference just that made. Okay, and now I'm going to use the gold. See, isn't that neat? Amazing what you can do with this stuff. Okay, and that one is done. See? But I wanted to show y'all that since I have already done the others. And you always want to make sure you get your lids back on because they'll I keep getting messages. And you know what? It's weird. You turn your phone on Do Not Disturb, but your phone calls still come through or your messages still come through. Okay. Let me turn this down. As you can see, I have kind of started, and I'm using a different phone holder today, so I hope it doesn't go whopper jaws on me. And what I've done is I've just taken the press and seal. I love that stuff. And for one, it saves on the paper plates and all that kind of stuff. And then I just use my chip brushes, and I'm using the metallic glazed silver and then the gold. And I'm also making sure that I have paper plates here because just like with stenciling I showed y'all yesterday, I'm going to always offload because I'm not wanting that much coverage. And this is also forgiving. Say here I had gotten a little bit more than what I wanted. So I just took a wet rag, kind of washed it off, and then I'm going to go back in and then I can hit it again. And very lightly. I mean, I'm not hitting this in full. All I'm doing is letting the edges of my brush barely touch. And where I drug the wallpaper brush through, it's got, it left lines and ridges. So that's what's going to be catching the metallic glaze to give you that linen look. And this is really cool if you take and do like I did yesterday, where you come down and then you can go across, and then if you do it in blue, it will look just like blue jean. So have actually done wall finishes like that. And then see where that was just a bit much, I just came in and barely tipped it, and that way, oh, you know what, I didn't think to do my computer so that maybe I can see, because I can't really tell on my phone, but I could set my computer down here where I could see maybe. Of course, if I don't get it in the paint, we'll be doing great. All right, y'all hang with me. All right, it's a little slow today, but that's okay. I'm not going to be able to answer the questions anyway until I get back home. But as you can see, and what I'm doing is I'm going in first with the silver because I like the way that the gold looks whenever it hits the silver. And like I said, you can see I am just see how I pull the glaze away from itself because I do not want much on my brush. And then I'm going to offload just like that. And then what I do is I come up here and I'm barely touching, okay, and that way I'm not having a distinct line across here. And then I'm just going to lightly touch, and I may not go all the way. I may skip and come over here. See how I kind of stair-stepped that? And then that way you don't end up with a continuous line of where you started and stopped. And see, I've still got plenty on my brush. In fact, what I have poured out here, especially the gold, that is way too much product. I will end up putting that back in for the whole piece, that is, in fact. And as you can see, I'm just barely touching. And that right there is all I need on there. Let me see if we're on here yet. Okay, you know, I don't even know if this is day 3 or day 4 of the ugly duckling. Whenever I done it, I think I said I done day 3, but oh well. I'm here, and y'all are here, so that's all that counts. Okay, and I'm gonna, as you can see, I am just barely putting anything on that. And I am going to offload it because see, that's a lot of product on there, you can see. Okay. And just lightly. And once I get this side done, I will, and see, I can go where I offloaded and pick product up. Okay. And if you wanted more, you can add more. But I really just wanted it very light, a distinct color. Because you know what, you can always add, you just can't take it off. And I've decided that on the top, I am going to do it just like I did the doors. I'm going to use just this metallic silver and the glaze, and I'm going to dry brush it on because I want that same look. I really think that if I done the top and the trim and the metallic paint, I don't think I would like it. So I'm just going to stick with what I started with on the doors, and I think it will be really pretty. And you can also even take your brush sideways if there's a small area that you want it to hit in. And the tape here, of course, I didn't want that on there, but I can lay my brush there, and that keeps me from having, you know, too much product. It will pick it up, and I'm not having a line across there. And there won't be a live tomorrow because we're going up to Tecumseh to see my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, and then I'm going to go see Kathy, my friend. She we get together and do a lot of videos and together, or lives together. And so I'm going to get to go and see her for a little bit. Okay, and something else that is always important. I feel like silly sitting down here talking up to y'all. But anyway, I think I need to go back in and add a little bit more silver right here. Because as you can see, there's more here than what there is over here. And that is okay. Oh yes, perfect. Yes, that's going to give it the balance it needed. Perfect. All right, now another important thing to do is whenever you're doing a piece, or you're doing mixed media, or you're doing canvas work, whatever you're working on, it's always good to step back and look at it, because then you can get a better feel of what it's looking like. Okay, from what I see, this up here really needs more. It doesn't look like it whenever I'm down here because I'm looking up at it. But I really feel that this here, especially the silver, doesn't have enough. And as you can see, I'm touching the tape and then lightly dragging down. Yeah, I think that's better. And see, I can go in sideways, and I know there's not very much on my brush, so I'm able to put a little more pressure. Just like that. Okay, I think it needs a little gold up there. All right, I think that is much better. And one other thing that I needed to make sure that I tell you is, before I started this, I took, I don't see it laying here, but I took 220 sandpaper and I just lightly went over, not very much at all, just to kind of take a few of the nubs off. But I really like that in here because that gives you the effect of the linen finish. Let me see. Ooh, that's made me out of breath. Okay, I'm going to try to take y'all off of here and move you down here where you can see up close. And it may not be showing up the same color that I'm getting, but this was a very popular finish. I really like it. So I'm going to turn it around. Okay, I know that went in there. Yep. Kind of scary. Okay, let me move my water. I'm going to turn this around. I need to move that bad boy. Oh, Lisa, Mary said that she wouldn't be able to be on today because she's moving from one place over to Uniques and Antiques, or Antiques and Uniques.
Renee, are you?
Yes. That's fine. Come here.
No.
She didn't realize I was on live, but that's okay. I'll be through in a little bit. You can come and join. I don't know why everybody's afraid to get on here. People see you every day, so, you know. But I talked to a lady that is here, and she's really fixing her booth up. So cute. And I wanted her to talk about staging. and she's afraid of the camera. So we're going to actually do a podcast and do some talking with her. So, hey Linda, how are you? And what is the temperature where you're at? Since you joined, I'll turn this around so that you can see the one side that I have gotten finished. And I used silver metallic glaze and gold. And and at the beginning, I showed the doors that I did yesterday. I stenciled the doors. Well, in fact, this is the third or fourth day. I've kind of lost track of working on the ugly duckling. I've got to find my sandpaper. But I'm going to be doing the top the same as I've done the doors. And I should have went ahead and done this, but I did want y'all to see the process of, because sometimes people don't understand how hard you sand or what sandpaper you use. But I use the 220. And sometimes, not on this piece, but if I'm using sandpaper on a regular piece of furniture and it's really stiff, I will take and rub the two together like that. And it kind of eliminates that so that it won't scratch the furniture. And I'm really not sanding much. I just wanted to get, and I'm not really particular about the direction right now either because it's really not going to matter. And then I'm going to take an old chip brush, and it's a little damp to get all of the dust out. And again, if y'all have any questions, just ask. Be more than happy to help you or answer the questions. I can't do it right now, but I will whenever I get home. So I think I'm going to start here and go that way. I don't never like going that way and coming this way. Isn't that weird? Let's see. I want to make sure that y'all can see. Okay, that's better. Gold. Okay, and like I said, I am just, you can see, I'm going to the edge of that metallic glaze and I'm pulling it out just like that right there. And then I'm going to offload because that's a lot of product right there. Okay, because I don't want too much because I can always add. It's just harder to take off. And I'm barely touching the tape and dragging down, and whenever I see that I can, I will actually turn my brush sideways as well. And what are you doing, Bobby? I suppose you're eating lunch. But I have to say, he did bring me a Snickers bar, y'all. And I haven't had a Snickers bar in forever. So that was good. I did take a bite of it though. But whenever I'm through, I'll finish it up. But I'm probably not going to work here on whenever I get through. This bad boy will have to wait till next week because I'm thinking about riding to pick up my granddaughter Annie because today will be her first day in ballet. And she was really excited about that. She's just the cutest thing. Oh, I got to tell y'all a story. It was hilarious. Bobby, I forgot to tell you this. Leftover chili. Oh, yeah. This morning, I rode with them to take her to school, and so I got over there, and this is Spirit Week, and she was being a kitty cat today. And so her dad asked her, said, well, Annie, where are your shoes? And she said, well, they're in there. And so he said, well, where in there? And she was in her high chair. She was eating breakfast. And so we went in there, and she said, they're in there underneath the thing. And so he said, but where? And she said, well, look down, Dad. I thought I was going to roll. Oh, gosh. So, that was comical. Crazy kid. And that's at 4 years old. Look down, Dad. That's what we would tell her, you know, or you would think anyway. All right. And see, that this is really a fast finish. It's not, doesn't take a lot of time. It takes me time because talking and doing is. Okay. Ballet and not line, no, not line dancing. No. She's doing ballet. Although her Mimi and Papa can teach her line dancing, you know. And as you can see, yes, I do want darker areas. And down here, I've got a couple of darker ones, and that's, you know, I want that. And see, that right there seemed a little light to me. Okay, now I want to stop because I want to come in with the gold. And I'm not really going to stay in a straight line. I'm going to kind of move it around and skip. Because then I can always come back and feel where I need to. You know, you could almost make this look like a concrete finish as well, if you wanted to. Well, I think I showed y'all a bottle that I did yesterday with using the Texture Magic, and I made it look like concrete. And whenever I'm done, I think I'm going to hop over on my personal page and do a walkabout and show y'all some of the stuff that's in here that people have that is quite interesting. Okay, I think I'm going to have to, I can tell now that I'm going to need more up here. Oh, you know what? Let me, oh, I almost stuck the gold in the silver, and I don't want to do that. Sorry, y'all. I hope I wasn't in y'all's way. And then I'm going to come in with just a few darker areas. I really like how the knobs catch the color. Okay, I need to stand back and see what I have. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, I am going to hold one of the doors up here. Now, if I can do that without making a mess, will be great. What do y'all think? And of course, then the hardware will be on. All right, y'all. What do y'all think? Hey, Candy, how are you? I think that's really, really going to be pretty. And then once I get my trim on, and I see some spots here that I'm going to have to go back and touch up. Okay, I think that has got that side. And I'm going to turn it around and put the tape on. You know what? I might put the tape on and stop and do the top so that y'all can see how I did the doors yesterday, because I think y'all have got the gist of how this is done. And you know what? Before you ever really start a large project like this, I always suggest that you get just a small piece of wood and do a small sample. Because a lot of times you might be afraid to go ahead and just jump right in. Well, you know, even if I had messed up with the metallic glaze, all I would have had to have done is stop, let it dry, and come back and paint it with whatever color I used with the Texture Magic. Like with this, it was the antique white. So say I didn't like what I was doing with the metallic glaze, I would just stop and repaint it. Start over. I haven't sanded this. But again, as you can see, I'm really not putting a lot of pressure. It's just those real fine knobbies. That I'm wanting to knock off. And that's it. And then I'll come back with a damp. Oh, I feel a knobby right there. And you know, another thing about using the Texture Magic for something like this, I feel like I'm crook neck. I am crook neck. Is say someone was to chip this, okay, you would never know it, because you're using the color that's in the Texture Magic is true to color. Say like a lot of people use joint compound for different stuff, like stenciling even, and whenever they paint over it and then it gets chipped, it's going to show white. It's not going to be color through. But if you're using the Texture Magic for that and you're using the paint color in the Texture Magic, you're not going to have that problem. So that to me is a great selling point for using it. Okay, I'm going to come back and work on that. I've got a couple of knobbies there that I do want off. But let me turn this back around. And you know what, I can't remember if I told y'all what color I used on the inside. I believe it was English tapestry. Let me move this stuff out of the way. And I can't see at all with the computer. For some reason, it's completely quit. I don't know what happened. Okay. But let me set this over here. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. Like I said, I'm using a completely new apparatus today. Oh, bye, Bobby. That was probably 10 minutes ago. All right. And I am going to use a chip brush. And I need to get this off. But I'm going to leave the tape because I will be able to touch that up underneath whenever I pull the tape off. Sorry about that, y'all. I forget I'm in front of the camera. All right. Yeah, for some reason the computer, so unless I can see it here, I won't really know. Okay. Make sure I get all that off. And I've not done anything to this other than the fact of putting the antique white Miss Lillian's No Wax chalk paint on. And that's it. Well, I put the swamp mud, the off-white, and then one coat of Miss Lillian's antique white. And let me turn this light. And see if that helps. You know what? Let me crank it up just a little bit. Okay, I think that gives better light than what I had. Yes. Okay, that's better because I want y'all to be able to see that. Okay, and what I'm doing, oh, that has a little bit of gold in it, so I need to get another brush. And again, I am going to offload. Very little is what I'm going to use. And I'm just, again, doing just like I did over there. I'm just barely touching like a dry brush. Because I can always come back and add more if I want. And sometimes I will actually, like I'm doing now, turn my brush sideways. And really you've got to have a certain light on it to be able to see where you're going. And there's a spot right here that I'm not real happy with. So I'm just going to take a wet rag and see, that took care of that. So you don't have to worry. You can always fix anything. And if you get a hair off of your brush, just take it with the side and go like that and it'll flick it right off. Water. I need water. Sorry, y'all. Okay. And again, and you know what? It's really good sometime if you've not dry brushed, just to get something, some paint, and just sit and practice. Because once you get the feel for it, I mean, it's very, very simple. Let me turn my light. Okay. I know I had a wet spot. There we go. And that right there is a prime example of the way you stand when you're applying. It's better to do this for me than to be in front, because a lot of times I'm going to have a tendency to do this or have a wave in it, and you don't want that. You want to make sure that you keep an even flow. And it's okay if it's hitting the edge here. That's not going to bother me at all. It's getting just the right amount there, so that's okay. But I felt like that doing this would be enough instead of doing a complete metallic paint and the watermark seal. It's a beautiful color, but I just didn't want to overpower the piece. And I will move y'all here in just a second where you can see. And I'll pull this in. Let me take this off so that you can kind of see. It doesn't look the same as what it does from what y'all are seeing than what I'm seeing. And I hope y'all can see that. It's really hard for me to tell. Okay. But the best is to stand back. And you know what? If, say for instance, you didn't want it to be that much, you can come back in with a damp. All I've done is dampen that. I got to get where I can see. And touch that, and it will lighten and pull. And actually, that is kind of how I did the doors, and I really liked the look. It softened it. It wasn't as harsh. Which the top could be a little harsher than what the doors are. Okay, I am liking that. It almost gives it a wood grain look, actually. It's really hard for y'all to see what I'm seeing, and I realize that because it's never quite the same. And you really got to have that lighting. Sorry, y'all, I've just got to get where I can see. And right here, see, and now I don't like that. So I'm just going to take it and wipe it off. This down here doesn't bother me, but I do think that I am going to go ahead and wipe that because whenever I'm going to wait until this dries completely, and then I'm going to put tape there, and then I'll do this. Because I don't want to do it now because it will leave marks up here. So you always want to think about that whenever you're doing a piece. So what I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll take my frog tape or my orange core tape and put up here very lightly. I'm not going to push it down really hard because it's such fresh paint. And then I will do my edge, and then I don't have to worry about it. And like I said, if you want, you can add water to another chip brush, and which I'm not going to very much because I like the look that it's giving. And once it's completely dry, I will take photographs and I'll show it after I'm done. Boy, it is really hard to see though of where I need to be, and so that y'all can see. Because here I can see the lighting perfect. And you really don't want it the same all the way across. And again, you've snuck back.
I see you.
Okay. Have a good day. I still think you ought to come and get on here.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. And I can tell whenever I am out, and then I can add just a little more pressure. Let me get down here and see if I can see this away. Oh, I can. Okay, this is good. This is good. In fact, I'm not going to use the wet brush like I did on the doors. I'm really liking how this is looking. Y'all, this really almost looks like a wood grain finish. And I like how it's picking up imperfections whenever I dry brush over it. I'll show those to y'all in just a minute. Yes. See how that's just adding just the right amount. Okay. I actually think that one is done. I like the top very much. Whenever I'm looking at it on the screen, it almost looks splotchy, but here it is so pretty. It doesn't look anything like what I'm seeing on the screen. Hey Nancy, how are you? Let me see if I can get a closer look. That's really hard to do, but it's really turned out to be very pretty. But dry brushing is a great technique, I think. Let's see if I can get y'all back in now without dropping you all over the place. Okay, I really like that. Now let me move this back. And actually, I can take this tape off right there. And now whenever this is dry, I'll come back and I will do this going this way with the silver. Okay, let me back y'all up just a tad. And I'm going to set the doors over here where y'all can see. I really think that's very pretty. Compared to what this baby looked like, I'm telling you, because it was quite the ugly duckling. But there are the doors and the handles. Oh, that's blinding, isn't it? Let me turn that light. Hang on just a second, y'all. Okay, I want to get the light off of it because it was really glaring. Alrighty, let me put this back up here and get y'all strapped in the saddle. But I really think it turned out so pretty. I'm very proud of it, especially from the ugly yellow that we started with. And I can't wait to finish my edge here with the metallic glaze. And in case y'all might not have gotten to see these at the beginning, these are the hardware. And it is just done with metallic spray paint and Miss Lillian's Gilding Jewels. Nothing like them, I'm telling you. They're just awesome. So, and again, in case y'all didn't come on in the first, this is a piece of the trim that I'm going to put on the sides, and it was just raw wood. And I wasn't even thinking, which I should have known better. Hang on just a minute, and at least y'all can see who's talking to you here. And I put on one coat of antique white. And that's why you want to use condition first, because that is exactly what it does. It conditions your wood for you so that whenever you put your paint on, it doesn't absorb all of your paint. See? So, I guess that is really it for the day, unless y'all want to see me do the other side. This is the only side, you know what? Oh no, I didn't. I did. I stuck my finger in it, but you know what? There is nothing that you can't fix. Perfectly imperfect, and you can always fix it. Look at that. See? I just run that through there, and I'm going to dry brush it, and voila, it is fixed. Done. Fixed. Okay, and I think I have already sanded this side. Hi, how are you? You want to come on? No, I can't get anybody to come on here with me. But, well, that's fine. You're more than welcome to stay and watch. As most of y'all have already seen, this is the Texture Magic, and it's mixed with antique white, and I use the wallpaper brush to make the linen look. And I lightly sanded. I just wanted the knobbies off, and that's all. And golly, I don't know what I keep doing with all my brushes. But might as well just finish this side and then I'll be done for the day. And I started out with silver. I have to keep reminding myself that. And you know what? I need just a little bit more. And y'all, I'm not kidding. Y'all saw how much of the gold I had. And that was way too much. So this did not take hardly any product at all to do. So, and again, I'm just taking and I'm going to pull that away from the product, and then I'm going to offload because I'm dry brushing and I don't want to use a lot of product. And the tips are just barely touching. You know what? I need a piece of tape right there, but I think I can manage. And my brush, I'm letting it barely touch the tape. And I'm doing the silver first. And I know I've already said this, but I like the look that I get whenever I put the gold over the silver. And then I like the look if I have to come in and add more silver. It just all blends really well. But you're just barely touching the surface. And then the more you go, then the more pressure you can add. Because after a while you get the feel that you know that how much product you have left on your brush. And again, a lot of times, instead of coming straight down, whenever I first started doing this finish, I would start and I would do a staircase, because that way I could always add in where I needed to, and you didn't end up with the line. And then you could go back in and then finish. And again, you know, another thing, like I was telling y'all a while ago, just remember that by using the Texture Magic and paint together, not only with this, but with your stenciling, you don't have to worry about if it gets chipped. It's not going to show white. It's going to show color, whatever color you used. Okay, now I'm going to do the gold. And these are metallic glazes. And again, it's just the same. And by doing that, I can tell where, and I may start here and go this way, and then I'm going to come and go this way. Come up here, and just keep in mind, there's never a mistake that you cannot fix. Gosh, it got quiet all of a sudden, y'all. They're really good here at Midtown. They turn down the music because, you know, Facebook is kind of funny about if you're doing a live and you've got music. They don't like that, and I think that's so silly. But you know what? I don't own the rights if y'all hear any of the music in the background, so it's the radio, and they really play good music here too. Okay, again, I need to step back and see. Let me put the light back on it. And actually, I think I need more silver, but I need to see the other side too. Oh yes, I do need more silver, because you want an even balance, and I have to always walk away and look at the project. But we definitely need more silver. But y'all, this is really, really an easy finish. And I sure wish that my computer was working so that I could talk to y'all, because on my phone I can't tell. But then I get busy and talking to y'all and okay, right here, that may be a little much. I don't know, I'm gonna have to look at the other side, but you know what? I'm gonna dry brush it, and I'm gonna come back. I hope y'all can see this, okay? And look at that. Gonna come back with the gold, and it literally took care of it, because I need stronger areas over here. Okay, and I'm doing that because I want y'all to see how easy this is. Okay, that's too much. Okay, so I'm just gonna lightly do that. Okay, and that will dry, and whenever that dries, I'm going to come back in, and whenever that dries, that will disappear. That'll go away. It won't be like that. I'm just going to feather that out just a little. I wish I had my blow dryer and I'd show y'all. But that is going to be just fine. And like I said a while ago, if for any reason you're doing a finish, and it's like this one for instance, if I just didn't like it, I didn't like how my dry brushing had done, I would just come back in and put my antique white over it and start over. It's very easy. I think I really need some up here. I need to offload. The main thing is to remember to offload, because you can always add. Sometimes it's harder to take away. And I'm actually thinking of coming back in with just the pearl, because that's what I did on the drawers. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to turn this around where y'all can see the other side. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. And the top is already dry. Okay, see, there we go. And I think I'll be able to go ahead and put my tape down and just like that. Okay, I think I'm good to go. And I'm really going to make sure that I offload here, because I don't want very much. Okay. And then I'll come down up underneath here. And I know that I can pretty well do that without getting into that down there, but if you're unsure, just lay you a piece of tape right there, and oops, almost too much, y'all. My brush, my rag. See there? You can just wipe it off. Perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with this and wipe it on. Perfect. Okay. That is done. And then I'm going to turn this around and I'll finish the front. And I'll have to let that other side dry, and then I will finish it. But again, I'm making sure that I'm using orange core tape, because y'all saw me, I just did this just a little bit ago. And I'm just kind of touching the edge here. And you do want to make sure your tape edges meet. Okay? And you can see that I'm fixing to hit the floor. Okay. Get my dry here. And I'm making sure that I'm keeping an even stroke because I don't want any curvature. A little bit more. Okay. That's done. And then I will do this other side whenever that area dries. So, all right, y'all, I believe we are done for the day. And I'm going to get my doors hung, and I'll take photographs, and I'll post it. So, let me turn this back up here. And if y'all have any questions, just let me know. I'll answer them whenever I get home. And I really appreciate y'all stopping in and painting with me today. So y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.